Okay, you start from right here. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared to be the great God, Allah, to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers, divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement. Which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law, in the city hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is the free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by the name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government, and depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of the government by claiming the names and the principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer upon up to the constitutional standards of the law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of the government, you must claim your national descent name, because they placed their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigga, the same as the word colored alludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy father and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and the South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at the time without power, for the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens of my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of government, being more wisely prepared by the more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitutional laws through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving in carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not true in the divine way, and without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. And their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, they will not refrain from the sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought them Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerners for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives in that life. And I'm hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me my great missionary work to, to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light from the prophet. Ooh.
Islam. Islam. Great job for the first time reading that.
I think that was my second
Oh,
time.
your second time? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so today, I know the last couple of weeks we've been in a the connection to Masonic lodges and Moorish science and how Moorish science origin of these lodges went in depth on a lot of different levels. We went into empire structures, kingdom structures, um, where in these structures you had councils and high priests that were essentially the what we call today, or they were referenced to being mystery schools or adept chambers and these things. Um, we covered a lot of different other spaces as well. But today, I wanted to get into more of metaphysical, astrological space. So there's two books, which is a reference as well. Uh, this one's called The Light of Egypt,
I think I've seen
The
it.
Science of the Soul and the Stars. The Light of Egypt, The Science of the Soul and the Stars. Second book we'll be getting in today, 12 Powers of Man. 12 Powers of Man. This author, what's his author? That's I don't even got the book out here, but the same author that wrote
Charles.
Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. He's the author of 12 Powers of Man. So we're going to be breaking into the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 tribes of Jacob, um, from the metaphysical perspective and analysis. I definitely want discussion and thoughts.
The Charles Fillmore.
Charles Fillmore, that's the author. Charles Fillmore, that's the author of the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. And that's the author of 12 Powers of Man. Charles Fillmore. Oh, Brother Justin Bay, peace and love, man.
Peace and love, Justin.
All right, so we had chapter 1.
What's the name of this book again? The Life of Egypt?
Yeah, the light. The light of
Oh,
Egypt.
the light.
Mhm.
Oh, the
Yep.
light of Egypt.
Mhm.
And both are by Charles Fillmore, right?
No, Charles Fillmore is the author of the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and this second book that we're going to go into called
The
The
12
12
Powers.
Powers of Man.
And then The Light of Egypt, who's the author of that one?
That is PJ Burgoyne. But you can just put Light of Egypt.
Okay, it's
yeah,
popular.
yeah, it's popular. Yeah, I mean, it ain't,
But you know
it's
what I
out there.
mean.
Yeah, so it's a unique title. All right. So, Science of the Soul, we're going to get into chapter 1. This is the genesis of life, the realm of spirit. And then we'll tie this in with some holy book, a holy book I have queued up, but you can tie it into multiple as we read. You'll see it ties in. So, involution, not evolution, involution is what we're dealing with right now. Right now, we're dealing with involution, not evolution. Let me get the brother in here. So, involution, being uncreated, eternal, alone, says Dr. John Young when speaking of the creator and creation. Certainly no inspired writer ever penned a more sublime truth that is contained in the above words. Pure spirit is diffusive, non-atomic, non-atomic, non-atomic. So there's not an atom, it's not something you could see and touch. It's not in its grossest state. Can't be seen with the mere eye, right? Uncreated, formless, self-existent, silent, motionless, unconscious, divinity, pure divinity, possessing in its sublime purity the one soul deific. Deific is like, it's basically saying divine. So you can say divine attribute or deific attribute, expressible in human language as absolute and unconditioned potency. Such is the realm of spirit, which, for the sake of linguistic convenience, has been termed by the occultists the realm of unanimated,
Unmanifested.
unmanifested. Yeah, I got dyslexia today. So unmanifested, back to the non-atomic. It's not in the flesh. It's not a carnal thing yet. Something you can see. It's ethereal, ether. With the first emanation of the inconceivable state, we now deal. So now we're dealing with the Kabbalah. I'm not sure how much background people know about the Kabbalah, but they'll say this is like a Jewish book, but it's deeper than that. But so the Kabbalah of the early Jewish rabbis, and we covered in earlier weeks. For one, Yahshua was referred to as a rabbi. Yahshua was referred to as a Jew. So we know, most of us know, maybe a couple don't, that when we're referring to Jew, it's not a nationality. We're dealing with the high priest or a Moor, right? Yahshua was considered a rabbi. So that's the context of when I'm saying Jewish. If you don't have that background, your mind won't go there to that type of Jew. contains long and elaborate treatises upon the various emanations of the 10 Seraphoth. So they calling it in their circles the Seraphoth, but we're gonna get into, like we talked about last week too, like the Elohim and the
Sephiroth?
Sephiroth, which for the most part are written in such an allegorical style as to be practically useless for the most Western students and even the Oriental minds unsatisfactory, and in many respects misleading. The first emanation from this realm of spirit or formless being claims the student's closest attention. It forms the deific keynote of the divine anthem of creation. This first emanation, called by the Kabbalists the crown,
Kether.
means, when stripped of its mystical veil, simple and naked activity or motion. Thus, we see that the first action of divinity, unconscious mind, is thought. The thought implies vibration or motion. At the moment the deific mind vibrates with thought, there springs forth from the infinite womb of creation the duad of all future greatness, the duad of the Kabbalistical twins, love and wisdom. So a couple things before we continue. Everything thought starts with a thought, of course. Then you manifest.
Yes.
Now it's something you can touch. Once you manifest it, now you can touch it. Now it's not what we say up here, non-atomical, non-atomic. It's no longer non-atomic. It's atomic because now you can see it, you can touch it, and everything is made up of a molecular structure, right? So now the Kabbalistic love and wisdom, those are the two veins that when you're walking through life, you need to know what that embodies and work out of that bag when you make a decision with other human beings. You're going to use wisdom and love with all your dealings with other humans, which in turn means the attributes, attraction, and repulsion of force and motion. Because when you're dealing in that vein, now your polarity is a certain polarity. Now what you attract, if everybody you come across be like, oh man, every time I come across him, man, it's just love and wisdom. Every time I'm around him or her. What happens is as the years go on, it's a positive attraction. It's a, people just, great things start happening for you. Or the other way. Every time I come across that brother, it's just hate and he's slandering people and talking back, like, always pessimistic, and that's another vibration, which causes a repulsion force and motion. They are male and female, co-equal and co-eternal, and express themselves eternally as activity and repulse. Repulse is like this stagnant. It's at a standstill. So active, active or not active, basically. No matter how recondite or abstruse or speculations may be, when the orbit of our metaphysical meditation is complete, we shall find ourselves face to face again with our original starting point, which is the infinite triad of love, wisdom, and crown. Or in other words, the one primal force containing unlimited potentialities within itself, right? So when we talk about thought, you're talking about thoughts now, or I'm gonna give an example back to the thoughts demonstration. There's no limits to your thoughts. There's no ceiling to your thoughts. That's the universe. You looking within is you tapping into the universe. You're tapping into the universe, right? Because we're the microcosm of the macrocosm. So when our pulse is in harmony with the pulse of the universe, of course, if we're not working out doing jumping jacks and all that, but our natural pulse is, we're in harmony. We're exact. As above, so below. That's where that ducks comes from, right? With this divine trinity or Godhead, as students and investigators of nature's occult mysteries, we must rest, contend, consoling ourselves whenever necessary with the certain knowledge that the nearer we appear to approach the great white throne of the infinite one,
The farther.
the farther that divine center recede from us. If this were not so, there could be no such thing as eternity, for the atoms of differentiated life.
Mhm.
Consequently, the immortality of the soul would be an empty dream, a mere figment hatched by some infernal power within the overheated imagination of a poor deluded man. Before going further, the reader should commit to memory the following primary doctrines taught by the occult initiates of all true wisdom. They are doctrines to us in our present state, insofar as we cannot demonstrate them externally by any known form of experiment. So let's break them down. We got about 7 of them. Is it 7? Or
It's 3.
oh, it's 3.
Mhm.
So the whole universe is filled with the deific or divine presence of God. That is to say, the universe is permeated with the pure, motionless, formless spirit of divinity. 2,
Mm.
the universe is boundless and unlimited, a circle whose circumference is everywhere and whose center is nowhere. The universe is dual and consists of the manifest and the non-manifest.
Right.
The manifest, spiritual, and physical, as above, so below. Right? Or well, when I gonna say it just like that, but when you got the Star of David or the as above, so below, the trines, pyramid regular, pyramid reverse, overlapping, creating the star, right? As above, so below, spiritual, physical, male, female. That's the whole concept. That's why. So let me elaborate how I want to just say it like that. Um, Hence, deity is progressive in his infinite scheme of spiritual unfoldment. And that's the whole thing. Us as humans, we're here to spiritually unfold. We're supposed to unfold. I'm about to parallel this with a Quran verse, but I'm gonna read a little more before I do that. The divine one life principle emanates from the pure vortices, the central spiritual sun of the manifested universe. From this mighty inconceivable center of life emanate the spiritual rays of the Father talking about is the Son in this book, scintillating with divine activity, whereupon the vast motionless void, the awful universe of God's silent, formless spirit comes alive with an infinite number of subordinate universes, which means the rays of divinity are brought to a focus at various points in space. And that goes to when you come out the womb. The Elohim, which we just covered, was the planets last week or the last couple of weeks. These planets, or the 7 ruling planets in the Milky Way, are giving off certain energies of light,
Emanations, yes.
just like fiber optics. And you can communicate through light. There's communication, no matter if you can see it or not. No matter if you can see it or not. That's why we said non-atomic, right? Non-atomic. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean there's not an entity that has information that you can receive. If you're ready to receive it, if you are calibrated properly to receive it. Because if you're not calibrated, it's just like a radio, right? You tune into a channel. Same thing. You have to tune into that. Or you're not gonna know if you're not tuned properly, you don't even know certain things exist out there. You can't
Right.
even tap in. Um, I had a main point that I lost actually. There was another point that I wanted to make. Where am I at?
You're talking
I
about
got a
birth.
question now.
Oh, go ahead. Where am I at?
All right, so as above, so below. So the abbot of so below is a character that is half animal, half human, half woman, half man. Could you explain that Baphomet character and where does that go into play as what we're doing with this lesson? You know, I need to understand and decipher this Baphomet character. What by them combining all those elements together in one figure, what are they trying to say? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. So you got two things. So let's deal with I'm gonna look it up like this, the Star of David. Even though we know there's other ways we can look this up, I'm choosing this way for a reason. Um, the ancient Jews, who they call Sephardic or simply Moorish, we looked at this sign as a pyramid in its traditional form and a pyramid in reverse, which represent two trinities overlapping. Um, that's one. One is another way is male, female, opposites attract, spiritual, physical, polarity. That's how we looked at this, right? So how this got corrupted is making this look spooky and where you don't want to embrace your own culture. Here's how
Right.
but they still
Okay.
leave signs like they make the goat, like you just that monster thing you just talked about. First of all, that don't exist in real life. That's not even a real thing. That's something that got created. So,
Correct.
so since that's the case, we gotta look at the symbols of that thing they created. We're dealing with
Correct. Correct.
the,
Which is like it's animal and half human. So that has to do with your animalistic nature that's on the inside of the knowledge I'm getting in my soul with that. Am I correct or am I wrong?
well, it's more about the crescent moon horns representing fertility. Because when you talk about, um, you know, that's what a crescent, the new moon is basically the shape of a horns of like a bull or you know what I mean? So
Correct.
we're dealing with fertility, and that's pretty much how the ancient mind frame. But people that don't know that background, they're gonna look. It's gonna be like, oh, that's the devil worship, or that's some
Yeah,
demonic.
demonic.
That's demonic.
Correct. Correct.
Same thing with how our grandmother, great grandmother, great great grandmothers would prescribe herbs for you to heal your body. You know, our great grandmother would be looked at as witches for that, or practicing voodoo for that.
Mm.
So I got a
Right?
question.
See how they do it? See how they
So
do it?
so the
By now,
Baphomet is basically obsolete. The Baphomet, it ain't no hidden knowledge in studying that structure that they created. It's
not
basically
really.
obsolete. It's basically a diversion.
Version. It's
Okay.
it's your stuff with a remix on it, so you can run away from it.
Yeah, because essentially it's
Yeah,
Kabbalah
because
in
like
another form, right?
yeah, it had a face of a goat that had the horns, but then it got breasts like a woman. It got legs in the bottom like a man. And I'm like, well, what? Yeah, okay, but I got you. Appreciate that.
I have a question
Yeah,
too. They said that like inside the Kabbalah that like all of like creation is hidden. Do you agree with that statement or no?
Yeah, it's a recipe to get into that. Yeah, because it's
Like
just
make a universe from scratch from Kabbalah.
no,
Like it's a
well,
recipe.
it's a recipe to know how, like how we're going into it right now. Like all things
Mm,
in life forms initially come from something that's doesn't something
uncreated.
you can't see, and it gets created. And then once it's created, it falls under laws that it has to abide by.
Yeah. The
Uh,
Saturnian like orders.
yeah, like inhale, exhale, like simple laws too.
Yeah.
Like you just have to. We can't float. We can't. There's
Right.
gravity, right? We need rests. We need
I be
water.
trying
We
to
need
break
food.
them all, but you literally can't. Like they're forced. They're
Yeah.
forced.
Mhm.
They're enforced for sure.
Mafi, can you help me get a clearer understanding again? So I'm trying to like fully get it. So like he was saying, the Baphomet, you know, with the pointing up, pointing down, and with the titties and shit. Like, are you saying like what does that symbolization mean again? Because oftentimes, like you said, people, tie it to with some like devil or satanic stuff.
Yeah,
And,
that's why they did it. That's why
and
they made it look like that to push us away. Mafi just told us like it was created like that to be like, well, what the fuck? Why I got titties and horns and a, you know what I'm saying? To make you be like, well, what the fuck, and then push away. You know what I mean?
Now,
That's what happened.
Yeah.
now I want to
So,
ask you, I want to ask y'all a question because remember we were talking about as the first question was from Brother Hassan about the as above, so below, right?
Correct.
So we went from that to Baphomet. Now, is the as above, so below sign the same as the Baphomet star? How many points does the Baphomet star have?
6, don't it?
I'm asking.
Islam.
right, that's a
6.
good question. That's a good question.
The Star
on the
David
stage.
got 6 too.
That's your, that's your last, that's your final answer?
I mean, I'm
I wanna
thinking, my
interject
yeah, I'm
here.
gonna hold that. The
Yeah,
Star
like,
David got 6 points, right? Or do it
Go.
got 7? Nah, it got 6. Yeah, the joint where he pointing up and pointing down, right there, like as above,
Like,
so below. So they
I-
sat down and made a mockery of everything. They put everything that we're learning in this lesson, they put it in a picture, but made it look grotesque and like,
Okay, so
ew.
this is why I gotta bring it up because y'all on to something, but I want y'all to get this get
Thank you.
100% clarity.
Okay.
So look, so this is
Go
a
ahead.
5 points. This is a 5 point star. It's not the as
Right.
above, so below star. It's not the as above, so below star.
It's a cutoff star. No
Go
way.
ahead.
That's
And
a
it does
5.
have the caduceus in it as well, the kundalini.
But it only goes to the
It
stomach.
is 5.
But it's
It
only
don't
And then it
5
got
points.
the little hospital sign, that snake crawling up the joint. That's something else too.
oh, the
In his
Kundalini.
stomach. Why is it in his stomach? And then
Why does it
the
end right
star is
there?
right there where his penile gland is supposed to be. Like, this is a lot of symbolism in this shit.
what's the
Right.
titties for?
But look, but hold on.
That's what I'm saying.
But
That's
hold on.
that's what.
I'm just.
But hold on. But
Yeah,
the
like,
reason,
why you got titties? Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
but that's the
We
thing.
gotta
That's why I
research
said
the history of Eli Lilly. Eli, who created it, just research his history. So that's a way later
Right.
sign. He perverted it, meaning like he added
Oh,
all this
this has
Jewish
been
esoteric
edified.
Correct.
shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the hand that goes up and down, as above, so below, the caduceus
Correct.
in the belly, the 5-pointed star Venus, not the 6-pointed star, but different
right.
star.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Before we get, I get we're getting excited, but let's
So
stick
it's a
with the
lot. It's a
star.
lot going on, but that's a later
That-
creation. That's not the original Templar
Okay.
Baphomet. And then if you go back to where the Templars got it from, they got it from the Egyptian god, the horn
Right.
god. It's the same. So they twisted our African shit, and then it got twisted again with the Templars. And then the latest
Right.
edition from the 1800 is Levi's. That's that new shit. And he just added all this, esoteric shit into it.
So the
But
Baphomet is none and void, correct? The Baphomet is none and void. That's
I
their
mean,
creation to make us be like, well, what the fuck, right?
I would
Yes.
say study the history of the
Yeah.
Baphomet. I'm not gonna call it null and void because people have given it so much energy. It's become something now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, shit, a word can get energy, my brother. You got to break that
Like,
shit down a little quicker.
But
A
I want to
word
say,
can gain energy. You know what I'm saying? It don't even have to be physical matter. Just a thing, a word, a phrase that can gain energy in this terrible ass world we live in. You feel me?
true.
Like,
but I,
if somebody, if I say, instead of saying everything cool, I say everything smooth. That can go from me all the way to the West Coast, all the way everywhere. Just like pause. Dame Dad started pause. Everybody do it now.
No,
You
it's
feel
real.
me?
It's real. It's real. They created
yeah,
egregore using,
Correct.
giving something power.
Correct.
um,
And that's what we have to understand. Like, we are up against this spiritual war is serious as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
but I want to say because for a lot of reasons, and like I say, this is recorded, and I like to send things out. So I know people at different levels. There's different levels of people, and I want to just make it real simple to
Correct.
distinguish. Because remember, we started this conversation off by saying the as above, so below sign, and then you went straight to Baphomet. I want to make sure people know that this is two different stars. The as
Correct.
above, so below star
Thank you for that.
is two trinities overlap and represent duality, 7 hermetic principles, male, females. It's basically like looking at the yin and the yang. The ancient mind perspective, of course. More science adepts are looking at the star like that. Now, the Baphomet star is like the flag behind me. the Moorish flag, national flag, Venus. So they're taking Venus. That's what they did with Baphomet. That's what this is dealing with, is a corruption of looking at Venus and fertility. Fertility, that's why it has the moon dealing with Luna, the women's menstrual cycle, feminine energy. Then we got the breast is dealing with back to the mother, fertility. Venus is dealing with fertility. That's the reason why crops grow, because the Venus works in conjunction with the moon. So around springtime, crops are coming out. The fertilization of the seeds get fertilized by the moon and Venus. That's why we're dealing with Venus is dealing with fertility. Farmers know more science very well. They need to know these things going on as above to even grow crops. You need to know the planets and where they're at. And,
Almanac.
Then what's up with this torch coming out of the middle of my man's head? What's up with that? It's like a torch, like in between the horns. What's that represent?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because
So
you see the star right there where the pineal gland is supposed to be. Then the torch, it's like my man is highly enlightened or something. Like he got too much energy in his vessel and is burning a torch at the top of his head. I don't know.
so
It
I
looks
did a
like
demonstration.
the light of Lucifer.
Exactly,
The
that's
light
what
of
it is.
Yeah, the
Lucifer
light
is the
of
light
Lucifer,
bearer.
the morning star. You
Morning
know,
star.
Venus.
Venus, that's the brightest star in the sky. That's so because Lucifer, etymology of Lucifer just means light bearer. Lucifer, Lucy is light bearer. Lucifer. Let's look at the
Yeah,
etymology. And I just posted that. So light bearer is just Venus. Because and I posted for the holy day too. I posted something when Venus is in the eastern of its cycle and it's the farthest east. That's why they call it the Eastern Star for a lot of the Masonic lodges for women, because Eastern Star is Venus in its easternliest point in the sky. And that's why it's at that point, it's the brightest star in the sky at that position. All right. So now we're talking about an exact way of looking at this, and why is Venus even on our star in our flag? And that's not Venus. That shape, that doesn't represent a star. That represents the transit of Venus en route. It makes that shape after about 500 plus years. 500 plus days. Right. So that's a transit. That's a symbol to represent the transit of Venus. It makes that star. But of course,
and you said light bearer, but in the scripture, didn't they call Yahshua the light bearer too?
Exactly. Yep. See?
I mean, I'm like, what's going on with that?
You making
it's all knowledge.
It's all knowledge. That's what a Jew is. One that knows knowledge. It goes back to Tahuti, the one that knows knowledge. Because there's no J, so it was no Jew. It was the Houthi.
Yeah, correct. There was no J in biblical times. Correct.
Right. Can I interject?
Oh yeah.
So,
Somebody
Yes, sir. Please, by all means. I'm all ears.
Peace and love.
Here we go.
Bay.
So in the divine warning in the beginning, what was read in the beginning, it's a divine and national. It is a divine and national. It is a divine. So if you know the divine aspects, especially yours, because it's your ancient forefathers and foremothers, like he tells you, if you know theirs, then you'll know how they're copying yours and what they're truly saying in their little signs and symbols.
Okay.
Did you get that?
I got you. I'm following you.
Now, okay. In their Bible, they did not call Jesus a Jew. Right?
Correct.
They called him a Jew. So if you go read the Christian Black Codes, in the first one it says it expels the Jews from their colonies. And this is the United States. They're saying this, right? So they're against you. You're a Jew. Jew just means knowledge, and one who is wise in divine knowledge. Was not Jesus divine? Didn't he know the divine? Didn't he tell you?
Wait, Elian, you can't just stop it right there. Why did they say in Christian Black Codes expel the Jews? Because they are. Because we got to keep the Moors away from the Negroes. In the 1700s, we got to keep the ones that know thyself away from the ones we using as chattel property. They both the same people, but one know their nationality and one are classified as black, Negro, and color. And that's why the Sons of Moors Act, the same thing. Like it's right. So we the Jews.
Can we put up the Christian Black Code just for people that haven't seen that before? Like I've seen it before, but I've invited a few people that maybe haven't seen it. So
every time I look at that, it makes me so mad. It's Christian black codes.
Hey, hey,
So
so
that's why in Revelation it said, I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews but are not, but are the
Jews.
synagogue of Satan.
Right. So learn the
That's the
divine,
fake Jews.
learn the divine national, everything. Just learn the just divine. Just learn it all. Then I'm showing you, you'll start seeing it. You'll start separating. You'll know what's really going on because it's a divine. Then
Well,
you'll know the national part.
So yeah, here go
uh,
Article 1. Okay, so first let's get some background, I guess. So Christian black codes were rules and regulations for people that didn't know their nationality and culture to identify as black, Negro, color,
Christian black codes of
and
17. I never even heard of this.
yeah, yeah, y'all
So they
heard?
they
Horrible
created
shit.
some bullshit
It's gonna
ass
make you
laws on how
mad.
you supposed to be a good Christian. Is that what you
It's
telling
gonna
me?
make you so mad.
Hey yo, I'm mad as
Yeah.
fuck right now. Mom, don't read this shit.
All right, we gotta cover.
No,
we
you
gotta-
gotta learn
No,
this, man.
Look,
we gotta-
in the art
You
of
have to
war,
hear
in
it,
the
though.
in the
That's
art
the
of war,
part
you
you
got
hear
to
it.
know
If there's
your
some background
enemy.
to talk,
Okay,
I'll
so
finish this up.
But
I'm
look,
getting
so
ready to have date night with my wife. You can raise your have me fussing at her about this shit.
So look, Article 1 of Christian Black Codes, it says expulsion of the Jews from the colonies. So these, now look, we're dealing with 1724. These are codes for Virginia, right?
And here I am in Virginia. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Nothing. Not.
So anybody that knew their nationality, birthrights, keep them away from the Negroes because they're gonna wake them up that they got an illustrious culture, that they part of this empire in the Americas that go way back to BC time, Fushang Dynasty, Olmecs, Mayans. It's like they built the pyramids in Mexico, Peru, like they part of that, and they under a spell that they got shit from somewhere else, so now they can't even have an inheritance or incompetence on an international level, right? So keep them away. Keep them Moors that know who they are away from these Negroes. They
Keep them
making us.
asleep.
They are industry. This is our industry, right? All right. So another one I want to highlight is look, Article 5, Sundays and holidays are to be strictly observed. All Negroes found at work on these days are to be confiscated. So they wanted you to get a good brainwashing. This is the start of the indoctrination.
number
Because if you're
3.
not number 3, and then number 3, right? Permits exercise of Roman Catholic creed only. Any other mode of worship is prohibited. So
There you go. You're not
this,
supposed to learn your crap, or not your crap, but your culture.
yeah,
What the?
you're not supposed to learn that culture. You're supposed to get this good brainwashing.
You're
Yo, this
supposed,
shit real, bro.
yeah.
you're supposed to stay a slave. Now you sit
Yo,
down,
this
go
shit
back to
real,
cotton
bro.
field.
Like for real, this shit is real, bro.
Nah,
It
this
is
real.
real.
I never heard of this shit in my
Yeah,
life,
it's
bro,
real.
and that's fucked
Still
up,
doing it
man.
today. It's still
That's
going
the
on
thing.
right
That's the
now.
Willie Lynch letter too.
What the fuck?
Oh, I hate the Willie Lynch letter. That shit makes
Y'all
me
Look,
mad.
excuse my language, but what the
I
fuck?
ain't never read it.
It's supposed to move you,
WTF?
okay? It's supposed to
Now
move
the
you
Willie
in
Lynch
here.
letter, I read that shit, but this shit right here, I ain't never heard of.
but look at
And
this
it
one.
Black
comes from the
Codes
Black
Act
Menorah
of
Code.
1705.
This another one. This another black code. This Act
Oh
49.
my God.
Yeah.
That all servants imported and brought into the country by sea or land who were not Christians in their native country, except Turks and Moors in
Right there, more.
amity with Her Majesty and others that can make due proof of them being free in England or other Christian country before they were shipped in order to transportation hither, right, shall be accounted. Now, if outside of the Moors and Turks, anybody else that don't know their nationality, if you identify as black, Negro, colored, Hispanic, Puerto Rican,
Slave.
Indian, Native American, you slave.
I'm Afro. I'm
You'll be an
Hispanic.
Afro, yeah. All that. I'm a
Slave.
person of color.
Get the fuck
You
out of
consider
here.
a slave.
Chains.
So that's Library of Congress right there. You can get a certified copy for the Library of Congress.
Whoa.
That'd be exhibit in court to assert
It's like
political
it's like
status.
people are playing
You know what I'm saying?
Monopoly and life together.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's public.
That's a good
great
analogy.
analogy.
That's a good analogy.
Great analogy, actually.
Yes, great.
Yeah. But that's
I
that's
actually
cool.
wanted to
Though.
ask a question too. Is I'm gonna keep it brief, but even with the Sephardic, Sephra, I touched on this before, but the origin of those words talk about snake. So what is the main symbolism of the snake? Because it's one of the oldest symbolisms on Earth.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, rebirth as well.
Why is this a serpent? Wisdom.
But how's a snake
But
wise? Like when I see it in nature, it doesn't
I
DNA,
told you, man, you gotta go to the Vatican, bro. Get your ass.
DNA,
That's like energy. Yeah.
DNA. Your DNA contains all kinds of information. So it looks like a snake when it just wraps around like the barber shop. You know the snake, or the even at the hospitals. You get that. It's right there on the basket thing. It's right there.
yeah,
The DNA
the
right there.
caduceus.
Yeah, can you notice it's right there at the solar plex right there because it's
Yeah.
connected to the umbilical cord. It's what it is. It's connecting. It never ends. Think of a light bulb, or not a light bulb. Think of a Christmas lights. It's like you, the next string, then or the string, then the next light bulb is, it was your mom, then you, then it just passes down. That's what it is. That's their
So that
nationality.
even
That's
with
why I
the
said rebirth.
Ouroboros, like the Ouroboros is a snake symbol that represents infinity or uncreated light, which is like an infinite circle of a snake. Is that similar as well? Talking about that DNA, the DNA pattern, those all line up as the same type of symbolism, right?
Right, because it's DNA. It's life. It repeats.
It's life. Okay, for sure. The snake symbol
It's life.
is life. Got it.
Then the Kundalini, remember that, it
Right.
goes from the spine up to the Dula Oblongata. That's the process to even activate the pineal gland or activate the Christ. It's a process,
Mm.
They're coiled up energy. Yeah, it's like also the beings, the light beings. I think they are also that specific type of form of energy as well, but they like snakes as well, So I think it's all just energy, as above, so below.
Right.
Yeah. This is good stuff, man. That's what I'm talking about. We went from the light of Egypt. See where we did. See how it took legs, wheels it took. Good stuff right here, man. Any other thoughts, statements before I continue?
Yeah. I got one. You just got to read. That's what he says. Noble Draw Lee just says, read, study yourself, study yourself, study yourself. So when you have studied and you ask me what to study again, he'll say, study yourself.
Right.
Just keep studying yourself, and you'll learn more things. Go ask somebody else who's studying. You'll find out more things. You can't know it all, but
Right.
you
It's a
got to try.
lot.
Endeavor to know all.
Thyself. Yeah. Islam.
Islam on that.
And this the sentence that popped off this beautiful dialogue. The universe is dual. It consists of manifest and non-manifest, which as above, so below. And there you have it, right? So hence deity is progressive in his infinite scheme of spiritual unfoldment. So we must unfold. The whole point of once we come out our mom's womb, the whole point is to learn and then unfold, like to find out the deific self, get connected with the format of the universe, to be in tune with it, to have peace on earth. So you can have peace, no stress, feeling good when you wake up, not
Right.
grumpy, and like you want to be on all cylinders. And you have to have a disciplined lifestyle, some more than others, to create that. Because now we're talking about diet, being active, training the mind, training the body different ways. You know what I mean? The list goes on, to reach certain levels of what you want to reach. The divine one life principle emanates from the pure vortices, the central spiritual sun of the manifested universe. From this mighty, inconceivable center of life emanate the spiritual rays of the Father. And when we're talking about the Father, clearly, yeah, when we're dealing with the Father, I got all these extra windows open. We know we're dealing with the Son. And just to reiterate that, the Son is loosely referred to as the Father. So that's, back to the 7 Elohims, the first Elohim, Michael El, just talking about the Son, etc. So the reason I like to highlight every time I hear Father, I like to hear it in that way because people get the Father thing and make it all spooky and stuff like that. Where am I at? Okay, wait for the spiritual rays of the Father, scintillating with the divine activity, whereupon the vast motionless void the awful universe of God's silent, formless spirit comes alive with the infinite number of subordinate wisdoms. And that goes back to how the earth is a female and the sun is a male. The electrical waves that hit the fertile soil in the spring causes life to come out the womb of the earth, i.e. crops, i.e. anything, fruits, vegetables. Same thing as the sperm is electrical and impregnates the egg. It's the same. You can't shake the principle of that space, right?
As above, so below.
As above, so below.
You said wisdom, subordinate universe.
Right. So it's okay. So yeah. So which means the rays of divinity are brought to a focus at various points in space. These points are foci form of the spiritual centers of smaller universes. An example of this can be seen upon our material plane by observing that the primary sun throws off a series of secondary suns. These secondary suns throw off planets, and the planets become the parents of moons. By the science of correspondence, as it is above, so it is below. Right? That's been the theme. We didn't even know that this author was going to close out their paragraph by saying that, but that's been our theme. And that's how you know it's universal, back to the divine. You know,
Hold on a second, hold on.
You about a screenshot?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a screenshot just right there. 1 second. There it is. Thank you. There's a phrase in there that I see that I have read way back in the past, and it just when I do my studies, it just pops out. It keeps popping out at me.
What's the sentence, you mind me asking? The one that popped up.
Go back up again. It right there. The secondary sun throws off planets, and the planets become the parents of the moons. So the sun made all the planets, and the planets made the moons, right?
Yes.
So I got that, from a book which I researched, which I didn't believe, but I literally tore it apart, and everything it says, it's all become true, or it's been repeated, should rather say. So I keep referring back to that book, and so this is good information for
Mark, you have
future
a question.
video.
Islam. Go ahead, brother. Brian.
So if there's a spiritual sun and it shoots off rays, does everyone receive like the rays of God the same way, or is it based upon your temperament and your zodiac sign?
Yeah, so when you come out your mom's womb, it's a snapshot of the heavens. Now that snapshot gives you who you are in your sign, right? Virgo, your moon sign gonna be whatever it is, your rising gonna be whatever it is. And then now you got your chart.
Yeah.
Certain planets and certain signs and certain houses. And all that means something for your temperament, your impulses, your interests, which you gravitate towards, your demeanor, how you come off. All is because of, like, back to the fiber optics, are the energies, the well blend of energies of the planets. You're a well blend of certain recipe of planet structures, which give you who you are.
Yeah, today, yeah.
You can't shake it. Can't shake it. Right. And back to the Elohim, or the 7 archangels, we're talking about the 7 ruling planets and the energies from those planets that give messages. Because remember, angles of light, that's the bottom line. Fiber optics. In the Bible, they're going to just call it an angel and make it all spooky. Oh, it's the angel giving messages. But we're in more science. We're Gnostics. We're not into dogma and getting caught in the parable. We want to know exactly what it's talking about with specifics. And that's what it's talking about.
Can you elaborate on that? Like you said, like, in the Bible it's talking about like angels in a spooky way. Like what do you mean by that? Like how are you saying this is different than like what is being discussed right now?
So the parable is like it's like a light version that allows you to see through allegory and simile, whereas like the actual version is like science-based. It's exact and it's pointing to something very direct.
Well, I think I kind of get you, you know, and I understand, and I know that we all understand that, you know, scientists, you know, study what the Most High has made, and science is always evolving. But I was just, I don't know, I'm still a little
Oh no, I got
confused
you.
on it.
I was just searching for something. I'm clear what you asked. I was just trying to find something real
Okay.
quick so I can
Yeah.
show you. So this would be an example. In the
Okay.
Bible, they're gonna reference it the 7 archangels or the 7 Elohim. In the Bible, they're gonna make it, if you don't know no background, like I'm telling you, you're gonna just look at it as, oh, 7 archangels. Oh, Michael L. Raphael. Okay, okay, okay. Um, 7 Elohim. In the hierarchy of heaven, the 7 mighty Elohim, along with cosmic beings. Now, see that this pops out. So we've been talking about planets. It's probably popping out to you. But if we didn't have no background, if I didn't tell you like flat out, we're talking about planets, you'll get caught up in the spookiness of, oh, the cosmic beings. But cosmic is
Right.
dealing with the universe. We're talking about planets now. Cosmic is dealing with planets. You can't shake that, right? So these planets carry the highest vibration of light. Back to the fiber optics, the planets are giving light, right? Messages, giving people their character qualities and vibration that we as humans can comprehend. They are the 7 spirits of God named in Bible's book of Revelation, and the morning stars that sang together, mentioned in the book of Job. The morning star, then we talk about Venus, the brightest star, dealing with Lucifer. Even if we didn't get a background of Lucifer, you read Lucifer in the Bible, you're gonna think, oh, that's the devil.
Right.
See how they tricking us?
And you
Yeah,
lost
can I help
all
on?
knowledge.
Can I help on this one?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, they're in their Bible, they talk about hell, right? How do you see hell? Go ahead and describe it for us. Hell.
Fire and brimstone and
Okay, so
Flames.
now when we go to the Black Laws Dictionary and we look up the word hell for the word, you'll see something totally different. And now they're using everything like spiritually against you, so you don't go on these things.
I got you. But are we like, so what would brothers define like as like the negative force? Like, because I mean, are y'all saying that y'all don't believe that there are negative forces that try to go against life and the natural, what we can say, positive flow of life? Are y'all saying that there are no negative energies, or like?
No,
There
is.
Yeah, there's negative energy, bro.
Hell
No,
yeah.
negativity. That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
so,
why.
like,
That's why, as powerful as we are together, we still a small group of people. There's negative energy everywhere, brother.
that's what I was trying to like. Okay, basically, let me word it better. Like when it's talking about, you know, when we read a word and it's talking about, you know, Lucifer or whatever, it's like referring it to as far as like the negative energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what
I
I'm
can see your
asking y'all.
aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking y'all, and
But
y'all
yeah,
saying no, it's
But
not talking about
but
that.
brother,
And I'm like,
but see
hey
how we looked
brother,
at Baphomet?
it
See how we looked at
painted a
Baphomet?
picture.
Yeah, Baphomet. That's why
It
we
painted
brought
a
up Baphomet,
picture
right? They make it look bad.
because you.
They make Baphomet look bad. But we broke down how it's really talking about the morning
Venus.
star, fertility.
I
They make
like to add in one simple thing. So they stole most of the knowledge from Egypt. They had a concept of evil called Esfet, right? It was chaos, destruction, disaster, right? It was an energy, it was a being, and everything was against that, or Apep. And they would be cutting off the head of Apep and they would spit on it. They did this ritual, to kill this energy. So there's this negative energy. But in their occult system, they view the Baphomet as the highest level. When you look up Levi and look up his definition of Baphomet, he's basically talking about Lucifer, the light bearer, bringing all these good attributes. So in their occult system, Lucifer is a good thing. So we got to distinguish that. But yeah, to answer your question, there is negative beings that all those temple texts, pyramid texts back to Egypt, they're talking about all these negative entities that are out here that we have to protect ourselves from. So there are
right.
negative entities.
And that's
Correct.
what
those
And,
that's
and,
what
and Lucifer brings you all the energy that comes with the adversary brings everything of the flesh, sex, partying, drugs, all these things that brings your spiritual energy down is what
No,
the
that's
is
100. And that would have been attributed to Set or Apep or
Yes.
Isfet in our ancient culture until they,
yeah.
hijacked it. But yeah,
And,
Isfet. I would start with Isfet, because
yeah.
that's like the most ancient evil that I could find. Because I was looking for ancient evil, and that was
He said, it's fat. I like that. He said, ancient evil.
well, and what I'm saying is,
Yeah, for real
they
though.
say
That's
in the
real.
scripture that Lucifer
Yeah.
was the most beautiful, right? They say in the
Yeah.
scripture he was the most beautiful, right? So
Yeah.
that's vanity right there. That's where you get your vanity power from. Then they say he was the minister of music. Okay, so he was the the person who ran the worship. Basically, he was the choir director. Everybody
Vibes
sing to
going.
the glory of the Most High. Now you listen
Yeah.
to the music right now that's in these days and time. What are they talking about? Degrading women,
100, bro.
okay? A
100.
whole
Killing
bunch
each
of
other.
nonsense. And see, it ain't us that the adversary want. It's the young people they want. And that's what is getting to them, because us older people ain't out here wilding no more. It's these young people out here wild.
I'm still working a little bit.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said,
Like
"Right."
so like I was just basically like putting in like basically because I know there's a lot of different translations and stuff, but I was basically saying like basically the content is basically seems to like what we saying is like a negative energy. Like some of us might say Lucifer, some people might say
I say the adversary because I
whatever
don't know his
adversary. That's what
name.
I'm saying.
I
Like
say the Most High because I don't know the Most High's name genuinely. So I know the Most High is the one that can't be touched, the creator of all.
right,
You
right,
understand? So
Allah.
that's why I'm trying to get in
right,
my vocabulary, brother.
right, right.
But these questions, you got to sit back. And I can tell you do a lot of knowledge, you do a lot of study, and just sit back and look at the world, man. You'll see what the adversary control.
Right.
You
Oh
understand?
yeah, I definitely know that it's real. I was just when we was talking about it, I was like, I'm reading, I'm like, hold on, like it's basically hearing it as in this is a term that they're using to define a negative force. And so
Correct.
that's where I was like, hold on, let me make sure y'all
Just
agreeing
like when
that
you were
this stuff
saying,
is going on. Like
when you were saying it was a certain tribe of people that said that the Luciferic energy was a positive energy is because they was tapping into everything that was keeping their energy low. And trust me, when you out there partying and fucking and doing your shit, that shit fun. You know what I mean? You ain't worried about nothing spiritual. You in the world. That's why the scriptures say be in the world, but not of the world, bro. You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
right.
question: Can the Luciferic energy become matter as the atomic energy, or is that more just in the ethers?
Yeah, when it get inside
That's a
your
good
ass, you matter. So
Like
that's it.
when you
Boom, there you go.
magnetize, when you magnetize and you accept that energy
Once it get
But
in you, bro,
is
if
that
it get in
is
that
that an
certain
omnipresent?
chakra, you done.
Is that an omnipresent energy?
It's the lower self.
Word.
Is it omnipresent? I would say that I would say about anybody has the capability to channel some negative energy,
Because that's the case.
You kind of.
Reality,
I
that's
think
the correct.
it's in the air,
someone
bro. I think it's in the air, like, cause you ever like a situation may hit your mind, and you have a conversation with yourself, like, "Yo, I shouldn't do this" or whatever. That's it right there. That's showing you the divine power that you possess. Because the serpent didn't go to the man in the Garden of Eden. That's probably a whole breakdown situation. He went to the woman. Because you are made in his image and likeness. So that right there should tell you that the adversary fears you for real. So all he do is keep throwing you crumbs and you pick them up and eat them. That's on you.
But wouldn't that
You
sort of be
feel
an
me?
allegory? If we all came from women,
Say that again, brother.
wouldn't that story be? I know it's a story in parable, but like we've all came from the woman. As far as that story is something different.
But if a person believes, of course, this is a person. If a person believes in the word, if you believe in the word, woman came from Adam's rib, But that's what he was saying. Like I get what he was saying.
Bro. Now I'm into this more science. I kind of think that shit was
Because
flipped, bro. I ain't even
more
gonna
science, it's
hold
different,
you. I think it's flipped.
If I'm
The
incorrect,
female
right?
energy is so much important. In this more science, you see the female energy and the female presence alone is so much more important than what we've learned by society, bro.
No,
It's so much more important.
No,
Because the
that's
Holy
100.
Trinity
That's 100.
is your queen, you, and a child. Man, woman, and child is the Holy Trinity. Not no Holy Ghost, Father and Son. That ain't how it
right.
is. They switched everything around,
Yeah,
bro.
because
But you
Deuteronomy
remember, go ahead, go ahead.
6:4 will tell you that the Most High said He is one, and you know I don't see where the Most High said He was three neither,
Correct.
because He is one power that's in
And the
control.
and the
But
Masons, they
remember,
go off of King Solomon. They go
but
off of
remember,
King
they
Solomon's
twisted it.
knowledge. The Masons do. But listen, King Solomon did his shit wrong. He dealt with too many women. You can't do that. That man had 1,000 women, bro.
And use the
That's like
ring,
a
and
different
use his
woman.
ring to
All
control
different types
demons.
of mindsets too.
This
He
is
was
what I'm saying.
controlling
If
demons and all sorts of
you
stuff.
do the knowledge, bro, that's a different woman in your bed. Pardon my French, empresses on this call. That's a different woman in your fucking bed for 2 years, bro.
Yeah, but
So
no, we do have to look
it's
at
like
history though too.
my man
Like,
went crazy over the coochie,
Yeah,
bro. That's messed him up.
yeah.
the history of the Bible and the history of Yahweh, how it changed. So originally Yahweh has a wife, right? He has his divine counsel, who Satan works for. Remember, in the old, Satan is his prosecutor. So in his divine counsel is Satan, his wife, and his divine counsel. Then they twist it as a patriarchy comes in. They get rid of his wife, Ashtoreth.
Correct.
Research how they got rid of his wife. Research how they twisted his divine counsel and then turned him into the adversary, Satan. So this whole new stuff that we, vibing on is new shit that they done twisted and twisted and twisted over 2,000 years. It's not the
Correct.
first shit. We got to go way back to really unpack it. You talking about, gay king. You talk about King, King James and shit. Then you talking about different councils changing shit. Then you talking about you got all them different edits to kind of get to the real shit. And then when you got to go to the archaeology, and then when you start studying archaeology, like, oh, this motherfucker had a wife. Oh, this Satan wasn't even.
But I'm saying, but bro, bones. Let me tell you something. Dinosaur bones, that shit is a myth. Bones don't last no millions of fucking years, and then you dig them up, and it's like you just buried a nigga 3 months ago. Come on, man. That don't work like that. Them bones is not that stuff is fake, bro.
We gotta unpack for real. It's a lot, but yeah, man. But yeah.
So you're saying dinosaurs don't exist or never existed?
Brother, I'm telling you, I don't think a bone would last millions of years and be straight, like still formed and everything. All the storms, all the permafrost, all the everything that happened. And you mean to tell me you can pull a whole dinosaur? No, they may have found a fragment and did some CGI stuff, and the computer built what the skeleton should look like. But no, I don't think bone matter can last and be whole for millions of years, y'all.
Well, as far as timeline revision, what you're talking about is you don't believe in the historic timeline, which is Scaliger. So basically, it's a Jesuit who created our timeline. But Newton, he wouldn't even agree with it. He was like, no, that timeline shit is bullshit. And a lot of scholars have been debating about whether the timeline is even accurate. So you might got something there.
Right.
The timeline
It's bullshit. The Christian
Exactly.
timeline is bullshit according to my calculations. But
Right,
that's
me
just,
too.
I'm trying to tell you,
Let me
bro.
break out my book.
That was
I'll
man.
tell
I'm
you
trying
straight
to
up.
tell you.
Bullshit.
As far as with dinosaurs and all of that, like there would be some written on the wall, some something. I know we wasn't writing on paper and books before, but it would be somewhere on the walls where it would be some large dinosaurs, reptiles, something, right?
I gotta find this
Yeah,
guy.
I believe like some dragon shit might have happened back in the day.
Snakes.
But I ain't triceratops and all that. Nah, man.
I think
I
it was
don't
David
think
Johnson
so, bro.
who had Vatican Archive. Yeah, he had the records to the Vatican Archive, and he got to the British Archive, so he got to see both. He's a chronologist. And
what was his name again, sir?
How he get in the Vatican? How he snuck in there?
No. He had access to this archive. He's a historian. And what he said
So
was,
they just let him up in there, just let him look at all the stuff that they got hidden from the world. That's what you telling me.
I'm just saying, like, they wanted him to create an archive of the history. And essentially he said it was all bullshit. He said the whole timeline's bullshit, da da da. His book is like a couple of $1,000s though to buy his book. But I'll see that
Wow.
about his book. But
I
yeah,
wonder why.
What's
I
his
know.
name?
Yeah.
I'll be asking questions for the rest of my life if I gotta buy a book for $2,000. Shit.
Shit, his books cost more
I'll
than
be
that.
calling
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
be calling Murphy twice, 3 times a motherfucking week if I gotta spend two. I'm telling y'all now, I ain't spending no $2,000 on no book.
When the Vatican killed the witches and created, they have a book of all the practices, and it's in this book, right? That book is $100,000. So yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of books that
Man,
cost.
that's a crib, bro.
It's because they put it at a rate so you can't learn.
Yeah. Sold
Wow.
by Sotheby's.
It's
Sold by
it's not
They
different
even
need to, they need to just give all
Hey
that
yo,
shit
we
up.
we
They
should
need,
put our money
knows, but
together for
we
a
about
couple
to just
years so we
break
can
them.
buy that motherfucker.
We're gonna break up in there. That's what we gonna
Where do we post? Where do we? I got an archive of books that I've got. Where do we post like books and where can I text you guys these names to of people?
Post it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, text it in the chat, bro.
Benjamin Bay.
Technology savvy, man. I just read books and I don't know.
I got you, bro.
Thank you for sharing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
There's a new message. The book.
All
The
right, I'm gonna figure
increase
out
the
how to do
book go
this.
down a little bit.
All right, we gotta let the Sheik continue his presentation. We've been going off on a tangent for a while.
Yeah,
Sheik,
I'm
my
ready.
bad, Mom.
I know it's all good, man. You know, I like to see where it go, man. You know, it's all good stuff. So we're dealing with, keep in mind, we're dealing with involution, distinguished from evolution. And so the process of creation are dual and consist of involution and evolution. The one is inseparable from the other. Paradoxical as it may appear to the uninitiated, it is nevertheless a divine truth that the evolution and ultimation of spiritual life is accomplished by a strict process of involution. So involution would be in some regards like reverting back to an original state or like kind of folding up and shrinking. So right now, since everybody can see each other, we're in what you call the grossest form. We're in our grossest state.
Yes.
Right. So since we are even in this carnal experience, the whole thing about having a carnal experience is to reach a deific state, to unfold, to reach your higher self, as we call it in more circles. Just to tap in, because you have to be at a certain level to even tap in to the archangels or the seven Elohim. You can't get the message. Yeah, you can't get the messages. Right. So from the without to the within, from the infinitely great to the infinitely small. To better understand this mystery, we must have recourse to a series of symbols. Accordingly, we conceive the divine focus of the primal essence as the spiritual center of the universe. The deific ray constitutes a triune, that means three, that means Trinity, Godhead, from which emanates the pure white light of the formless one. Or in other words, this center constitutes a realm of, what the brother said earlier, Sephiroth, a sun sphere of living potentialities, divine beings, infinitely beyond the highest what? Archangelhood. This is why it's good to cross-reference, because this author in this book is talking about archangelhood. We went over the 7 archangels. That's just another way of saying the 7 Elohim. We just covered that. What are the archangels and the 7 Elohim? They're just planets, right? They're just planets, and the energies from those planets are what they bestow. The messages from these angles of light, angels Remember, because if we just look it up, what are the seven Elohim? What are the seven archangels? Oh, these are angels that gave messages to humans. That's how they just gonna keep it simple. Like, oh, these are angels that gave messages. That's how they're gonna present it. Um, so this author is using angelhood in what context? The deific ray. Who's given the deific ray in this book? We're talking about the Father. Who's the Father in this book? The Son.
The
Not
formless
just
one.
right. Well, the formless one, but the Son. Yeah, the Father is the Son, and the Son given the deific ray. And the deific ray is referred to as archangelhood in this book, and I just tied in our archangel were just planets. So one of the archangels are the Son. That's my whole point of tying it together like that. And when you can use different books like this that are not authors that are necessarily Moors, they're just PhD scholars that are putting info, you can use this to substantiate your main point. It's called cross-referencing. So many books as you can of authors that don't know each other, but you can take information from all those books and show how the similarities of a certain point. All right, so as such, we may conceive it floating as a speck in the infinite ocean of divine love, surrounded by the effulgent brightness of the nameless crown. This divine sphere is passive in such a state. Their nirvana, a little background on nirvana, activating the Christ, activating the pineal gland. Their nirvana. Just look up nirvana. Now that I said it like that, just look up, oh, nirvana. The definition of nirvana. Nirvana reigns upon the blissful radiance of his motionless bosom. But the time now approaches when its mission in the scheme of creation must start or commence. The moment arrives, and as soon as the first creative pulsations of thought vibrate, so as soon as you start having thoughts, the whole sphere of motionless, formless, white light flashes forth, sparking with life, with living energy. And now, behold, what a change has taken place. Metaphysical to physical. The soft white light has ceased to be, and in its place there is a rain forth in every conceivable direction, mighty oceans of force, each ocean differing in velocity, color, and potentiality. So now we're talking about colors, which talking about frequencies. Because once things becomes manifested, now is subject to certain laws. Like for us, for example, we need oxygen to stay alive. H2O is water. Like certain things become, you fall victim to certain rules and regulations. 7 hermetic principles. Everything vibrates as a right. Gender, duality, corresponding. All these things are in play. And you need to and you better understand it and be in harmony with what's in play to have a peaceful life in this temporary physical experience that we have. If not, you're gonna have quote unquote hell on earth, quote unquote. I'll leave off.
The passive has become active.
The passive has become active, and the motionless has started to move or commenced to move, traversing the void of space upon the wings of light. Deity has become refracted, a portion of its infinite soul decomposed, and its original unlimited potentialities resolved into a series of active but limited attributes. This is related in the mystical language of the Kabbalah as the evolution of the 7 active Sephiroth. What the brother say earlier? Sephiroth, 7 active Sephiroth from the first Trinity: love, wisdom, and the crown. So they're calling it in the Kabbalah the 7 active Sephiroth.
Hey, bro, can you pull up the Sephiroth Tree of Life? So we can see it, or do you have that image?
The Kabbalah image.
Yeah. Just hold that thought. I wanna just, we had a lot of like
Okay.
a little sidetrack dialogue. I want to just let me finish through this. But keep
Yeah.
that thought. We will.
Okay.
If I
That's
forget, just remind me. So the realm of spirit, the symbolic illustration of the divine harmony of nature's laws. So the 7, here we go. 7 Elohim, 7 archangels, Michael, Samuel. Let's go back. We got to drill this home. So that's all we're looking at. All we're looking at is 7 ruling planets in different ways. Okay. Michael dealing with power, Samuel dealing with strength and victory, Raphael dealing with intelligence. Oh, let's go to Raphael. Since we know we're dealing with intelligence. Oh, doesn't that correspond to Mercury? Wait, what's Raphael? Hold on. Oh, Raphael is Mercury. What's Mercury dealing with? Oh, let's see. Oh, intellect. See, it ain't spooky no more, right? It ain't all spooky no more. See how we just made it simple? Right? That's all. That's what we want to do for our people when we're doing missionary work, because a lot of our people, oh, you got the feds and term. What you feel about this? Our people come from different backgrounds of information. But we want to make things simple for the people, real basic. So this is the Elohim. They all have a color. Remember, we're talking about the colors. Colors have vibrations. The crown chakra dealing with purple. The root chakra, red. This is not arbitrary. It's a reason. Colors give vibrations. If you in your root chakra, what vibration you're gonna be in? Real carnal. Just think about selfishness, sex, lust, right? Red lipstick on a woman. What's it represent? That your root chakra getting activated. It's like bold. It's like, oh, she trying to stand out sexually. Like, you know what I mean? That's the root. That's the element of, that's the color associated with the root chakra. I'm just giving examples off the hip. All right, so let's continue. Oh, then we got the Trinity that we talked about earlier, the triad. And it's the focal point. Love, light, live. It's the highest vibrations known to man. It's really the highest vibration known to man is love. The love vibration, which Venus also represents love. Because fertility, when you make love, the woman is fertile. See how simple that is? So they can connect the dots. Let's get back to it. We got a little bit left. Where was he at? Oh, we still on this page. I'm tripping. Well, let me mute the brother. All right, so let's continue. The beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So these concepts in the Bible, we just revealing what they mean. That's all. Speaking to manifest, because we're talking about planets and how they get created, how universes are created. You know, it's all the same process. Things have to come into manifest the same way. In our case, the best example will be, like I say, having thoughts. I'm going to work out tomorrow. Boom. Tomorrow you work out. Now somebody can identify that you're doing it, can touch it, can see it. They got atoms. They can't see your thoughts, right? That's the most classic one thing you could look at is that in that way to encompass what I'm talking about. Okay, so where we leave off here? It is these 7 active Sephiroth that constitute the 7 principles of nature. They form 7 points or subcenters around their parent center, the spiritual sun, and are the 7 worlds of angelic life, from whose divine matrix issue all the life atoms of their universe. From the foregoing, the reader will see that when the dawn of any universe starts or commences, the pure formless essence is indrawn from the realms of the unmanifested into their sun sphere of creative life, previous to being involved by the deific will of the angelic hierarchies. And by such contact, it immediately undergoes a change. It is formless no longer, but atomic. So now it's atomic. Now we're dealing with atoms. Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, the evolution of the atom. Genesis, dealing with genetics. You're looking at the Bible a little different now. And endowed with an attribute or state it had not before. Now we're dealing with polarity. Back to those laws. Once you're having this cardinal experience, now we're dealing with laws of polarity, Hermetic principles. You can't shake it now. This polarity at once evolves a sort of partnership and equally divides the formless substance into two parts, each a necessary attendant upon the other and manifested existing. One is positive, the other is negative. The positive ray is that which constitutes the living spiritual fire of all things, and its atoms are infinitely fine. The negative ray is ever tending toward a state of repose or inertia or stagnant or being standstill. And its atoms are coarse and loose as compared with those of the positive ray. It is the substance formed by the negative ray that constitutes every species of matter, so-called, from inconceivably fine ethereal substance, which composes the forms of the divine archangels of the sun. Here we go again. Archangels of the sun, down to the mineral veins of the dense metal in the earth. Therefore, when speaking broadly of spirit and matter, the terms are perfectly unmeaning in an occult sense. For that which we call spirit is not pure spirit, but only the positive or active attribute, that which we term matter. Hence, matter is so far unreal, it is only an appearance produced by the negative ray. And this appearance is the result of polarity or mode of motion. The positive is straight and penetrating, the negative is round and enfolding. With this brief but necessary digression, let's resume. From the 7 angelic states before mentioned, spiritual involution starts. Each one of the 7 spheres is a reflection of the one of the 7 refractive principles, which constitute the divine mind of the angelic creator. From the reflection spring forth angelic races, second only in mental power to the potency of their parents. So the angelic races, now we're talking about all the prophets, everybody that's considered a prophet. What is a prophet? A messenger of the truth. So what messages, okay, I guess what I'm saying is
I
before
see
it
what
was a prophet had to be inspired.
my son.
You feel me? And
That's
the vessel,
crazy.
now it's a vessel. So back to the fiber optics of the planets,
That's
you had a
crazy.
certain vibration to receive the information. Now you a vessel to teach people that aren't on that level to receive the information. They real low vibrational. Everybody can't get it as divinely as you may have got it. Some people need instruction. Some people need to constantly hear things in a curriculum way to start crawling and then start walking to that direction. You're your brother's keeper when you just get the information to a point where now you can uplift the people with it. High priest.
So can I ask you a question? Is
Yeah.
this is discernment the ability to tune in between different types of messages and figuring out where they come from?
That's one, to know the origin of why you're being divinely inspired. I guess that's one. But the second is what I'm saying is once you get inspired, now it's time. Now you're your brother's keeper.
Mm.
Once you become a Jew or one that knows knowledge, now your job is to illuminate your people. Because the whole thing was your people are being oppressed. Even in Yahshua's time, it's like we trying to get in a better divine position. It's only one way to do that. It's only one way. So that's what these prophets came down and let our people know. Like, man, y'all fell from grace too far, man. It's time to get back to a noble way. That was the point of the prophets even coming. You know, it's the warner of the people. Change their ways. Where are they go?
I think let me see.
All right, so
I think that one.
yeah, with this brief but necessary digression. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm actually right here.
Oh, okay.
From this reflection spring forth angelic races. So that's why we got on this space. So we got the angelical beings,
Oh, yeah.
we got the planets giving messages, and we got the humans used as vessel to communicate as a what's it called? A conduit, basically. You become a conduit, the planet, you, and then the message that's coming through you to the people. angelic. And matter of fact, in the one-on-ones, it talks about that. Who are the angels? The Moors are the angels that are transmitting the light, or transmitting the messages of the truth. You know, the Moors will be the angels in the carnal experience. You know, the light bearers. Then in turn are produced still lower celestial states. Each state are a sphere corresponding in nature, color, and attribute to the sphere which it was born are reflected. But though each state in the descending scale is similar by correspondence, it becomes less in size, more material. The spiritual potencies of its angelic races are weaker, that is, less active, because they are more and more involved with matter as they descend in the scale. Thus does involution proceed. Involution state after state and sphere after sphere, forming a series of circles whose line of motion or descent is not in the plane of its orbit. Hence, the form ultimates itself as a spiral until the lowest point is reached. Beyond this point, motion is impossible, and the infinitely great has become the infinitely small. This is the great polarizing point from which the material world is reflected. It is the lowest possible spiritual state of life which formed the first ethereal race of human beings upon our planet, and thus ushered into existence the famous golden age of mythological celebrity. Back to our grossest form. We can see each other. That's the bottom line. So that's involution. So our whole goal is to evolution now. And it's kind of like you need to hit these see what you made of in a sense to graduate. And that's like, the seven-step ladder and all these things is just you gotta climb. You can't, it takes practice, it takes discipline, So let's explain the diagram that we looked at earlier. We'll talk about it right now. Let's see. Let's go into the diagram. The central triad represents love, wisdom, and crown. The Trinity of God. The seven-pointed star, the seven rays issuing therefrom. The seven circles show the seven angelic worlds formed from the seven active principles. The names, Kasael, Michael, etc., we know the seven, Elohim, whatever, are Kabbalistical names for the Sephiroth. The secondaries or ruling intelligences who, after God, actuate the universe, while the words above and below show their attributes. So now that we read that, we'll look at it again. And like I said, the brother mentioned Sephiroth, and we're just keeping it simple and plain what we're talking about. Simply the planets, core, the color emanations of these planets. The brother said, what's the name and author of the Jesuit who made the archive of the timeline?
Got it.
It went, okay, put it in the chat. Okay, cool. So all this was involution thus far. So I want to cover evolution, a couple paragraphs, and then I'll tie this into the holy book so you can see where Noble Jew Ali was at in his mind frame. So the term evolution is from the Latin e in volvo, which means to roll from or unroll. And the evolution of matter means precisely what the term implies: unfolding, expanding, opening, and evolving, the whole of which can be summed up in the word progression. Progression. Active, not passive. Matter per se is the solar opposite of manifested spirit. It is the reaction of spiritual action. It is energy in a state of rest. It is force and motion in an exact state of equilibrium. In short, matter simply means solidified spirit. When two imponderable equal forces from opposite directions meet each other, both powers become polarized. Force is resolved into inertia or a standstill. Motion is transformed into rest. In other words, spirit becomes matter. Its refinement or its density, depending on a degree of etherealization. So I want to go to the circle 7. Oh, by the way, peace and love to Benjamin Bay, man. I meant to greet you a long time ago. Peace and love. And matter of fact, before I go to the Quran, I wanted to show this
Peace and
too.
love, more important.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. There was a mention of, and there's a book. They mentioned the 7 creative spirits. Damn, I lost it. 7 creative principles.
Oh, and then get some back.
Dang.
So when they say there's nothing new under the sun, they really meant it
Mm-hmm. Yep.
deeply.
All right, so back to I lost the page, but 7 creative principles. So as you can see again, it has the as above, so below, distinguished in different colors. But once again, male, female, physical, spiritual, negative, positive. The balance of man and woman, which is the start of creation of life. The union of man and woman. Who just came in? Peace and love to who just came in. Who was that? Peace and love to Narayana Bay. Islam.
Peace and love.
All right, so now let's go to the Quran. I want to make sure I showed that. So now that we read that, I'm gonna read an aspect of this chapter. We're gonna close out with the whole chapter, but I'm gonna read an aspect of what I highlighted here, since we just got through reading The Light of Egypt. And these souls and these soul attributes become a body beautiful, a multitude. Let me meet the brother. I know that's Brother Malik Yusuf. Peace and love. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you real quick. I'm gonna mute you because the wind, it's a tornado where you at. I'm gonna mute you. But peace and love, man. All right. And these soul attributes become a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries or works many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower, still, and then the essence took its final garb. So that's what I mean when we're saying, remember, evolution and involution. Light of Egypt, we're talking about vibrating to a so slow, now it's flesh, right? The perfumes and the odors and the true sensations and all of love were clothed in flesh.
What
And
the fuck?
man was clothed in flesh.
What the
Perfect.
fuck?
Who's cussing? Who's that?
Peace and love.
That's son. Let me see.
Gotta mute him, Mom.
Who was that? I don't know who that was. So perfected man must pass through all the ways of life. And so a carnal nature was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. So now we're talking about involution, now, right? The ether plane slowing down. So now it's just something you can see we in our grosser state. But when you in that state, now it's back to evolution again. Our whole goal while we're in our grosser form is to evolve the perfected man. And how do you do that is passing through the ways or the tests of carnal things that come your way. Okay. So I was going to go into 12 powers of man, but I'll save that for next week because we had a little the dialogue took flight a little longer, which is good. But I always just have to prepare, just regardless. But I always let a side dialogue. Any thoughts on anything. As a matter of fact, the brother had something that he wanted to talk about actually, and I had paused him. Brother Samson, he wanted me to pull something up dealing with, I believe it's Sephiroth, but I think I pulled that up. Any else? Any other thoughts?
It's on the
Oh, the
chat. It was about the 9 different type of angels, like the biblical accurate angels. They got, they got all these type of beings, and I wanted to know how they related to the 9 planets. It's on the chat though.
The 9 planets. I was saying 7. I was dealing with the 7 archangels.
Sorry, you're right. 7 planets, 7 planets. But yeah, take a look at the different classifications of beings, and yeah, just let me know.
That's kind of on the point, like question, because I was gonna say like,
Yeah, these are planets. Yeah,
like
simply
what
planets.
what would the person? Hello?
Oh no, I hear you. No, I hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say like what he said, like touching in on that. I was gonna say one, like what would a person like defining angels? Because like when I read of an angel, right, it's like and how I'm like reading it through scripture and stuff like that. It's basically saying it's like a servant, but they either have further a deeper understanding. They're able to go between certain either dimensions or something like that. So like that's what like I've always known, like when I'm reading an angel. And I was gonna ask you, like, how would you, especially like when we're talking about the word, how would you explain when it's like the angels is talking to these people? Like, are you saying that you would explain to them that the planet is talking to them?
Right.
And
Exactly.
like
Yeah,
how,
but like I said,
what,
that's why I said it in the way of fiber optics. Maybe are you familiar with fiber optics?
a little, not off the top,
What's
if
that?
I could put that term. Can you
What's that? Like
about you?
downloading data, downloading information, or something you want to call it?
You get communication from the light. The,
Frequency.
yeah, you get information
Yeah.
from the light and the frequency of the light. So the reason I brought it up like that, that's what fiber optics is. Look it up. That's a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you're getting information from the energies of the planets in a certain angle. There's 2 ways of looking at it. One, once again, when you come out the womb, you a snapshot of the heavens, would give you who you are, but that's all based on the planets. What degree? Like I'm a Virgo, but I'm 17 degrees in Virgo. Somebody else might be 2 degrees sun sign in Virgo. That means something. And you can, right? Like it's very specific. So those are angels of light. Those are angles of light that gave me my characteristic in one way. In another way, like the 7 ruling planets, remember it's 10 in the Milky Way, but 7 of those planets affect humans. The other ones are called octaves, which can enhance one of the planets. An octave would just raise the vibration of one of those planets. So those planets give people information. What are those information? Intellect. Oh, that's the Elohim Mercury. It's dealing with intellect. Matter of fact, let's just look at them. Let's just look at them again. Oh, the feeling of love, compassion. Oh, that's dealing with Venus, right? Protector energy, fiery and protector. That's Mars. That's like Aries. That's fire sign. That's the ruling planet of Aries.
Are you
Mars.
getting a grasp of what he's saying, or how's he putting it together?
Discipline. Oh, I'm disciplined. That's a disciplined person. Oh, that's dealing with Saturn. That's the energies of Saturn.
I feel I get it, but I wouldn't know how to explain it.
Yeah, that's I'm on the same thing.
Can I give it a shot? All right.
Go ahead.
So the sun rules all the other planets. The other 7 will reflect on you. because of the energies that you receive as it traverses around the sun. Either if it's all in alignment, you're going to get a lot of energy because of the magnetic pull that's being forced on the womb.
Right.
And when it's spread apart, you're going to get different energies because one might be hiding behind another planet or might be in the line of another planet. So you'll get something like love that's stronger within you. That makes you get what I'm saying? It's giving you the energy. It's like just your mom's an oven. They put all the ingredients in you and they put you in the oven and you're baking. So either you're going to come out too salty, too chewy, too hard. It just depends on what you get from the universe is what they're putting into you. So the universe is putting everything into you. So when you come out of your mama's womb, that's what you're made out of. And that's the energy from the sun bestowed by the planets and so forth.
Also, I'd like to add too, like in the name Archangel, like he said, is angel of light. Arc is a term for angle, position in math. So like if you consider yourself the center of Yin as it transits around your archangel of light, the sun is the whatever planet, like he said, aspects or triane on you. And then that's how you get made. Just like Elon said, that's the ingredients they put on you when you bake it in the oven.
So how you explain it, you're saying like you your own angel, right? Is that what you're saying, kind of?
Right.
Yeah, so basically if you study the planets, you master yourself, you won't fall victim.
So if we could be an angel and we could communicate like how we could communicate, then how come those angels can't communicate in the same way?
Because we low level, like he said, we're on a 3D carnal experience plane where our experience is to rise out of matter. So we can't communicate or see a lot of the stuff that happens behind the scenes on purpose.
But I'm telling you, if you walk the right path, the energy that you need to get to you will get to you. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether you see it TV or whatever. If you touch, then bless. You touch, then bless, bro.
And the only reason why I'm not trying to be like, problematic with the questions or nothing, I'm just really trying to get an understanding because like
you're good. You're good. Don't know
you got a good hunger. By the time you reach your peak, bro, you won't be on it, bro. Don't even worry about that. I just was messing with you about the dating shit. You know what I mean? I was just joking with you, man.
No. I was just checking and making sure with everybody, because like especially, I won't even go all into it, but like when we talk about like angels, like I really, honest to the Most High, like feel like I've seen one before, and like I'm willing to share. I'm willing to share it with people at a different time. I'm not saying that I feel like Mafi, like you wrong on that with the planets. I just feel like there are light beings, because like we probably all from light ourselves, like we was talking about, beings that are in a higher understanding that still can like communicate with us.
Correct. Correct. Can still inspire you to do the right thing. When you, let me ask you something, brother. When you're faced with a challenge in front of you, you got two different voices in your head. You got that voice in your head that really don't give a fuck to tell you go ahead and do it. And then you got that other voice of reasoning in your head. Explain that. You hear me? So once you understand and do the knowledge of that, some of these questions are not even happening because you already had the knowledge, you already had an understanding. You get what I'm saying? Like, say you about to do something that's to the negative. We all have done it. You know what I'm saying? Say just like, for instance, you get ready to rob a bank or some shit. You know what I mean? You got that voice inside you say, man, fuck it, we need the bread. We hungry, we gotta eat. But then you got that other voice just saying, man, you gonna go to jail, man. You might not want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's already, so the question you asking, you already experiencing both the negative and the positive energies in your life. You just didn't know it. You feel me?
But Mafi is he's saying that they are the rulers of those planets. You feel me? And he's breaking it down as a simplified understanding of what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because they do have horns of. If you look at the tree of life, you can see that as well.
They
So,
govern everything here.
but wouldn't we say like the real? I mean, because I believe, you know, that these energies do exist, but I believe that they are under the control of the creator.
Right.
So like calling them in control of the planet, it's like I get it, but I just like to go to that main source. But I hear it though. Like it's like a supervisor. That's how I see it. You know what I
It's
mean?
like,
Like
as you were saying, like, because we are human, we only get touched by certain things as we're living in a three-dimensional plane. So what I was just explaining to you earlier was to let you know that, brother, nah, that might not necessarily be true. Because all of us on this chat have had that positive voice in our head and that negative voice in our head when faced with a situation that we might decide to do or not do. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying.
You got some thoughts, Nine?
Yeah.
Hey, Nine has some.
I want to chime in really quick. So the way that I see it is that when they talk about archangels, you need to summon them, right? What the way I see it is that you have to tap into that frequency because we're talking about frequency like planets. So being
Right.
able to tap into that because we're also human too. So we're talking about how we can get blockages, right? So it's hard to tap into that sometimes. So you need to release, and however way you do it, meditation, yoga, things like that, right? To release and then tap in. And that's why people use like rituals and archangels to be able to tap into that energy to connect to get the information. Because then once you unblock, now you can receive, right? From the divine. And when we're talking about the planets, talk about the universe. Yeah, there is a creator, and then there's the planets that the creator has, right? For those energies. So
Right.
the way I see is like to study yourself first. That's something I'm kind of learning now too, like studying myself like fully through my birth chart and everything with the Trinity. Once you study yourself, it's easier to be able to explain it to people too, because now you know yourself. And now you've studied the planets, you studied the energies and what it actually means. So when someone asks you about it, you can, better explain it to them too. But that's the thing. I was holding on to that for a little while from the beginning, but
And the brother just broke it down like he broke down the etymology. Like, so he's saying archangel, you're saying angle. Arch is an angle. And I said, instead of saying angels, let's look at it like angles of light that you're receiving. Right. So that all go hand in hand. I'm like, man, I didn't even look at it like that. I'm like, yeah, he right. That's on top of it. Arch means angle. So if they're saying the 7 archangels, they talking about the 7 angles of light that gives messages to humans on the planet. Right. That blew my that blew
Wow, I like how that came together, Bob. That was
ain't that crazy though? Like the I think our brother Brian said that.
Yeah.
It's like he
Yeah.
looked it up real quick. I'm like, arch means angles. So I'm like, that's angles of light. That's why I put my hands up. I was like, thank you. You didn't see me.
And that's my
Archbishops.
that's my point. Like it's okay. So if it's given like, you know, if it's given information, then it has some, like, we can basically agree that it's some form of consciousness, just like we have a consciousness, and it's communicating it, but it's communicating it in a certain way.
Yeah, so the creator of the heavens and the earth, which it depends what discipline you. Some people say it's a SAR, whatever school of thought that you want to prescribe the Most High, but that creator created the planets. So the elements in the creator, or the reflection of the creator, is within the planets. The planets are giving energy to the humans, and we are the vessel with the communication of those planets. So it goes back to the creator. It's just the creator passes down the energy to the planets pass down the energy to the humans. That's all that's happening.
Right. Okay. I like
it's just micro and macro.
Detail. It's good to get detailed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ma. Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate everybody.
Oh yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, thank you
on that.
guys.
That was
It all
Yeah.
came back together. That was nice.
Loved it.
Yep. Any other thoughts, statements, comments? I'm gonna read
Just
chapter
one
1.
quick one. So I'm interested in how things develop, like over time. So when did angels associated with archangels? You know what I'm saying? With angles. and I had to look it up right quick on the AI, but it looks like it happened around like third century, and then kind of redeveloped later on. But I was trying to, I'm always looking at like the development of certain terms, trying to figure out where they originated from. You know what I mean? But no, thank you for breaking it down.
That's a good question right there, brother.
And that's why we have etymology. It's always a science, especially if we're dealing with grammar. The importance of etymology is key, because the brother just broke down the etymology of archangel. And I was telling you before he broke that down, I'm like, we're just dealing with angles of light, y'all. And he came from a different perspective of the etymology of the word. He just saying angle, right? So, and then you have to remember, the more ancient, the more you're gonna get a more comprehensive definition. The more you get to today, everything is watered down and commercialized, and now you got to dig through all these parables and anthropomorphic packaged riddles and stuff like that, and you lose the original intention of what is supposed to be expressed. So that's all we is doing, is just simplifying everything. But yeah, any thoughts, statements, questions? Like I said, I'm gonna read the chapter and close out.
I really like this one, Brother Mafia. I like this meeting we had today. I think we was all just communicating. We was throwing all type of information out there, downloading data from all the planets at this time. We just got a big old internet download data like there. It's all type of stuff going on today. So I really enjoyed this one, Brother Mafia.
I know.
Everybody
No
is
doubt. I second that
good
also,
energy.
brother. I second that. Good sound.
Yeah, that's good, man. But you see how we feed off each other, man. You can all
Correct.
get
Correct.
buried,
I like that.
you know what I mean? And that's what the temple is about. The temple is not a
That's
building,
how it
right? It's
should be
a council.
everywhere. That's what we're trying to make it like that everywhere.
Yeah. The think tank. Brilliant minds coming together. Assist our brothers and sisters in getting clarity. But most importantly, back to the dojo thing, we're doing this so when we're out in public, fez and turban, and people come up to you, you're the nobleman, you're the magi, you're the wise men. You can speak with information, intellect, for the purpose of growing the organization. We're trying to get our people woke and then mobilized. It's not about us knowing, oh, I know all this information, so I'm fly because I know that. That don't help me. I can't. It don't help me unless 20, 100,000, the rest of my brothers is woke too, and we all mobilize and organize and start setting up businesses and economy. None of this information matters unless we use it to mobilize the people. You know what I mean? And inspire them. So keep that in mind. We're trying to get polished in these circles so we can be good ambassadors when we in the public.
Yes.
Correct. Correct.
All right, so this is chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Let me see here. Okay. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No infinite mind, or no finite mind, can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was one time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yeah, from finite point of view, time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah, or the creator of the universe, however you want to, all law. I want to cover Allah for the people that didn't know, all law. That's all. The creator of the universe laid down law, gravity, whatever you think of, right? Creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of the flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to a soul a body of the flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made to manifest? Hear now, ye worlds, dominion, power, and thrones. Hear now, ye cherubim, seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplas, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of the earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye the wind that blows, ye the thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye the spirit of fire, of water, earth, and air. Them elements, fire, water, of elements, right? Hear now, O everything that is, or was, or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spiritual life or spirit life. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite, right? You can't touch your thoughts. Metaphysical. They are not measured up by time. For things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past into the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. But like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah. Just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of God. Now, seeds are perfect, yeah, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded, evolving, unfold. Remember, we're talking about that? Look at Light of Egypt, unfold into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, must be deep planted in a soil that he might grow, unfold, as does the mud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of plane, of soul, and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman, and if you look up husbandman, it means farmer, cultivator. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, drew forth this human seed into the soul, the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear the plane of souls, but the ether of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essences of life are manifest, the perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love are manifest. And these soul attributes become a body of beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he works many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essences took on a final garb. Perfumes and the odors of the true sensations and all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal nature was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, or you got to be tested, right? And
Right.
thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight. And that's back to the devil, right? Somebody brought up the devil earlier. You're just fighting against lower self activity, your carnal self, carnal thoughts. Man must fight that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplasm, of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that can't be told in words. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know that the cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Then he will stand untrampled upon the plane of soul, where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. These he must overcome. Yeah, overcome them, every one. Thus, hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have fully opened, will have unfolded in the holy breath. And we know holy breath means truth. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore. And it will pass and be no more. And man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectedness and be at one with Allah. And that's the evolution that we're talking about. That's the whole goal. To become in that deific state. You want to be a noble in real time amongst the people that need help. So let me close out in prayer, and I'll do like one more round for any type of discussion or whatnot. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Amen. This was a beautiful meeting. Let me stop the recording